Hello, welcome to Lil's Vintage World. If you watched my last video, which was a book haul, you'd have seen that I wore my glasses because I got a bit of a headache. Still wearing the glasses. Today I'm going to share with you some recent crime classic books that I've been reading, and I'm going to chat to you about them. Why not? So, the first book is Death of a Bookseller by Bernard J. Farmer. This is part of the British Library Crime Classics, and actually this one is celebrating the 100th British Library Crime Classics that have been republished, because this is the 100th title. Look at this and the lovely gold, the detail, it's really, really nice. So this is about a man called Michael Fisk who is walking down the street a little bit worse for wear. He's had a few drinks and a local policeman comes up to him and says, "Oh, you okay?" assisting him, sort of thing. And this man, Michael Fisk, is like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm a book dealer and I've got this really good deal on this really rather rare book. I'm going to do really well." And they end up getting talking, and our sergeant is like, "Oh, well, I'm actually wanting to get into book collecting." And over the time they end up becoming friends, and then our man Michael Fisk ends up getting murdered, and in the murder the very rare book that he was very excited about is stolen. And the detective inspector asks our sergeant, who's friends with him, to come on board the investigation because he's very much into the sphere of book dealing, book collecting, and all these types of people. And we delve right into the bookish world of collecting and dealing, and oh, it's rather good. It's the perfect book to be the 100th one because it's just bookish. And let's be honest, we book lovers love books about books. Oh yes, we do. We love books about books, and I really, really enjoyed this one. I would say this is kind of classic crime meets thriller. It has that kind of thriller element to it. I was on the edge of my seat, bottom clenching for quite a bit of this book. Someone gets arrested and you go, no! And it's nail biting until the end, but it was so good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. 1956 this was originally published. Really good for the 100th one. And if you are interested in getting this, if this is on your wish list, then I highly recommend you picking it up. Thank you for the British Library sending it me, because it was on my wish list. I did want to read it because it's a classic crime book about books. Yes, please. The next classic crime book that I read is R in the Month by Nancy Spain. This originally was published in the year 1950 and has recently been republished by Virago in this really lovely edition. Very nice. Now this is set at the seaside and it's in a hotel, and one of the people that reside in the hotel, they live in the hotel, it's their birthday, so to celebrate they're having a very nice tea, they're having their favourite meal, which is oysters, and the oysters have been poisoned, and she subsequently dies, and then someone else subsequently dies as well. And it's like, oh, and we have our very trusty Miriam Birdseye on the case, assisting the police and pointing them in the right direction. Now, with all the books that have been republished so far by Nancy Spain with Virago, they've also included Natasha, who is a ballerina. I don't know why I did that for ballerina. You don't do that in ballet. Or maybe you do. No idea. But this one didn't have her in. And to be honest, did it make that much of a difference? No, because I turned to Nancy Spain for her writing. Until a murder happens, I forget that it's a murder mystery. She's very funny and I giggle quite often at Nancy Spain, and I think she's very Marmite. I think you either love her or you don't. Personally, I love it, and this one was 4 stars, you know, just as good as all the others that I've read. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, really good. And I'm looking forward to actually rereading some Nancy Spain as well. I think it'd be nice to reread some of the others that I've read. The next book that I picked up was a Patricia Wentworth standalone, because as you know, I've read all the Miss Silvers now, and this is Silence in Court. This was the one that I really wanted to get to in terms of her standalones. This was originally published in 1945, and I really wanted to get to it because it had a very similar premise to Sad Cypress by Agatha Christie, which, if you didn't know, is sometimes my favourite Agatha Christie book. It's hard to pick a favourite. But Sad Cypress by Agatha Christie is about a woman called Eleanor Carlyle, who, when we first meet her, she is in the dock accused of murdering her ex-fiance's lover. And then we go back in time, see everything take place, and then we go back to the courtroom. This is the same organisation. So we have a woman called Carrie who is in the dock accused of murder. It's a different person, it's a member of her family, but yeah, similar. And then we go back in time, see it ever take place, and then we go back to the courtroom. We spend a lot more time in the courtroom here than we do in Sad Cypress, but that organisation is what attracted me to this book, and boy oh boy was it good. I really, really enjoyed it. 4.5 out of 5 star. We spend so much time in the courtroom, and I love Patricia Wentworth's writing style, and I love how she creates these characters, and I really didn't like many characters apart from 2. I'm not going to say who the other one is, but Carrie was one of them. There was another one that I really liked as well, but I wasn't trying to work out who did it at all, because I was just trying to work out how to get Carrie off it, because I was like, she hasn't done it, she's not that type of person, she wouldn't kill. So yeah, had I not read Agatha Christie's Sad Cypress, this would have been 5 stars, but because I have, and that still pips it for me, just pips it at the post, this is like 4.5. But really, really good and well worth reading. Highly recommend. I always enjoy Patricia Wentworth because she's classic crime with a little touch of romance just chucked in there in every book. I enjoy that. Speaking of someone that does that, we have Elizabeth Cadell. This is Death and Missdane. This was originally published in 1959, I believe. I want to say 1959. Yes, 1959. This is a bit different though, because this is a lot shorter than her usual stuff, and that is because this book was never meant to be published as a book in her lifetime. It was written and then given to a newspaper for them to publish, but the original manuscript either got lost or destroyed or whatever, and the only edition left that has this edition is the edited down version that was published in 1959 by the newspaper. So here's it. I actually really like it though, because it's really quick. I mean, it's large print, really quick to the point, and I whipped through it so quickly. This is set in like a little villagey town thing, and we have kind of main character, and he is an estate agent, and a whole new load of people, there's quite a few people, come to this little town, and then this big wig up in a big house gets murdered, and it seems like everyone kind of could have done it, and there's a love interest in there as well, and the love interest is a possible suspect, of course they are, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then last but not least, I have another Patricia Wentworth because I am addicted. This is The Dower House Mystery. I do have a problem. I do love Patricia Wentworth so much. I finished Silence in Court, then read Death and Missdane, and I was like, I really want to read another Patricia Wentworth. This was published in 1925, so really, really early one. I'm not really sure how you describe this because it is crime, mystery. Got mystery, golden age mystery. It says there little. This is about a woman called Amabel, yeah, Amabel, who has the brattiest daughter. Honestly, she's vile. Brattiest daughter in the world. She's like, I want to go to Egypt for December because there's this boy there that I really like, and it's like, ugh. But mummy, I need £200. Give me £200. You're so selfish. And it's like, oh, for crying out loud, she's such a brat. But the mom gives in. I'm like, well, that's what she does then, doesn't she? I know it's fiction, but still. And the mom gives in, it's like, here, have £200. But to get the £200, she's got to like rent out her own house. Ludicrous. Anyway, so that happens, she goes to rent out her house, and while she's there she hears people talking about leasing out a house, the Dower House, and you will get paid to stay there. And so she's like, I'll do it. And they're like, really? And she's like, yes, 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 I need the money. So that's what she does. She stays at the Dower House for £200. You have to stay there for 6 months. You can't leave for more than like 48 hours, something like that. And it's because the Dower House has such a bad reputation. Like, people that have stayed there for literally a few hours, few days and gone. There are bumps in the night sort of thing, and guess what? Things do start going bump in the night at the Dower House when she starts staying there. But you have to find out what's going on. I liked this book. It's not quite my usual thing because it's kind of like espionage-y. And it does link to another book that I haven't read, which is The Adventures of Jane Smith. I haven't read that one yet. Don't know if I'll spoil myself for it, but hey ho. But I liked it. Like, I thought it was all right, because I like her writing style. But and I really like the beginning. But yeah, I'm more into cozy, you know, working out who's done a horrible murder. Much preferred this, Patricia Wentworth, so yes. So there we have it. That is all the classic crime books that I have been reading recently. Oops, if you're wondering what that was, Pup just knocked the camera. Let me know what you have been reading recently, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. Thanks so much for watching. Take care for now.